Thank you, Dr. John Gray, for coming to Warsaw, to Poland. And I am very happy to host you here for my community of Business Forum Poland and Women Power Poland here in Warsaw. And I hope we will meet you next year as well. So I wanted to ask you two questions, basically, about how to maintain a good relationship in business, because we gather like more than 10,000 people in our business community that are very active as members, and I would like you to share the views, because sometimes we don't know, is it good to be more than a business colleague, or shall we put this kind of barriers? You understand what I mean, right?
Yes, I understand what you mean.
So myself also, sometimes I'm confused. Shall I respond late if my business partner is writing, or just leave it? So please share with us how to maintain a good and safe relationship in a workplace.
Well, first of all, I mean, how close can you become with somebody in the workplace? There's all kinds of rules today about that, but so many people do meet in the workplace. But at the same time, you run a big risk if you have intimacy with somebody in the workplace. Because physical intimacy. Because after that, women will tend to bond more, and so there's always going to be this feeling of rejection that's going on. Or men can feel rejected as well, and now you have to work with that person. That can be challenging for people. So having said that, we put that to the side. I mainly focus in my work on Mars-Venus leadership, which is understanding the differences between men and women in the workplace. In a short interview, I'd like to cover the most important points, which is to recognize that when a woman is in the workplace, she's on her male side. So she's not that different from a man, but she still is. And that if you want to have good relationships as a leader, there's basic leadership skills, which is to be an example for everybody. If you want people to behave a certain way, you have to behave in a certain way. And the key is to behave in a way where people can look up to you and trust you. Trust that you care about them, trust that you respect them. And to do that, understanding gender intelligence is very important. When I'm dealing with a woman, I will have extra consideration and sensitivity towards recognizing that for her self-esteem, she needs to feel heard. She needs to have a sense of connection. That's not so important with a man. Okay,
that's right.
It's just not, it's not that important for a man. But when I'm dealing with a woman, and when a woman is dealing with a man, she has to recognize that he doesn't need that connection as much. What she needs is clarity, he needs reward, he needs direction. And how do you give feedback to a man when, you know, if you're the manager and he's below you in the hierarchy? You have to realize that men's ego sense of self is different from a woman's. It's fueled by a hormone called testosterone. Now, testosterone, men need to make 10 times more, otherwise they don't feel good. They become defensive, they become argumentative, they feel unappreciated. So whenever you can possibly give a man the message that he's appreciated, you bump his testosterone up. So if you're giving feedback, you wouldn't just say, why did you do that? You would say, I noticed you did this, help me understand why you did that, because I was expecting you to do this. Okay, so help me understand. You're putting him in a position of helping you, as opposed to, you didn't do this, you should have done that, I can't believe you did that. So there's a consideration there of when you talk to a man to realize that any sort of direct message that he's failed will lower his testosterone, which is his motivating hormone. Now, for women, they don't need testosterone to be motivated. What they need, if you look in the workplace, women are over-motivated, generally speaking, until they want to leave. So these ideas help us to hold the women into a company. And a woman can destroy a company, because women talk. And they have no problem talking about what's wrong with the company. Men can be that too, but I'm just saying that we want to respect women, and the workplace is designed not against women, but it doesn't understand women. And there's a lot we can do to support women being fulfilled in the workplace. And so as a man working with women, I want to be inclusive. So inclusivity would mean if I'm working with men and women in a team, there's usually some woman who's more feminine than the other
Yes.
women. Some women are more masculine. They're going to jump in there, you know, they're going to go back and forth, just like playing soccer, kicking the ball back and forth.
Yeah.
Some women, you know, like the customer service person on my team, she's like great for customer service, but she just doesn't have that male aggression.
Yeah.
And so if she's sitting in a meeting, I need to point her out and say, now, Carol, tell me what you think about this. And then she'll have a lot to say.
Yeah.
But she usually wants to be drawn into the pack. So if I don't do that, she will think I'm not appreciated. He will think she has nothing to say. Because if I've got a man in a group and he's not saying anything and I don't call him out, he's glad because he has nothing to say. Because generally if a man has something to say, he'll say it. Sometimes women are wanting to be asked. A way of respecting a woman is, what do you think about this? So I'm going to be more considerate of that, noticing if a woman doesn't get a chance to speak. I also know that when a woman can speak, her stress will go down. Now, I'm not saying become a therapist to the women in the workplace, but always give them a little bit more time to talk. For example, she says something, you say to her, help me understand that better. Or tell me more about that. You've just scored big points with her. She's going to feel that, you know, you're someone that she wants to be led by. You know, you're a leader. So you have to build that trust. And women grow in trust for you when they feel seen, they feel heard, they feel understood. And if they don't have a chance to express themselves through words, they will feel unappreciated. So in our survey of over thousands of women doing our gender intelligence workshops, what is women's biggest complaint? When they did have complaints, is the men did not appreciate them.
Okay.
Or even the women didn't appreciate them. But they didn't feel appreciated. But we asked the men, do you appreciate the women? They went, yes. Most of the men said yes. But we don't communicate appreciation in a way that a woman can hear. Because women feel appreciated when they feel included, when they feel heard, when they feel seen. Whereas men don't feel appreciated when the result is not acknowledged. So if I'm a woman manager, a leader, what I want to do is whenever a man does something, I want to say something like, well, why did you do that? Or help me understand why you did that. And that's a good idea. I can see what your thinking was. That makes sense.
Yeah.
These are powerful phrases for a man. That makes sense. That's a good idea. You're right about that. Well, I can see why you said that. If you completely disagree with it, well, that's very interesting. I didn't think of it that. I would never have thought of that. So
diplomatic way.
That's right.
Of
Be as
saying
diplomatic.
you are not
as,
right.
That's right. Be as diplomatic as possible.
Yeah.
And as a general rule with gender intelligence in the workplace, don't bring your emotions into it.
Okay.
You lose your value as a woman when you express emotion. You really have to put your emotions to the side. And the only way to do that effectively is work-life balance. You need to have a place that in your mind you can go, I can talk later about my feelings. There's a place I can talk about my feelings. And many of the major corporations in America will provide coaching for women and for men where you can offload your frustrations, your disappointments, or your anger, but you cannot show that in the workplace. If you show it in the workplace, you lose power. It's as simple as that. When women are emotional, they will lose power. And another aspect of gender intelligence in the workplace is I don't want my women to burn out. Women burn out, and then their competence and their skill, they will often leave because of that. You need to support women more so with the work-life balance. Men will typically take care of themselves. Okay, we're much better at taking care of ourselves than women are. Women will give. Women will overgive.
Okay.
Oh, it's a general rule. When women are unhappy, it's I do and I do, I give and I give, and I don't get back. I don't get back. This is biologically written in a woman's destiny if she doesn't work with it. There's something which is, because women can make babies, the whole idea of tending when somebody needs help, you want to just give. And your mind thought is that if I give, I will get back. But part of gender intelligence, again, is to recognize that if you're a female employee, now this is just for the, again, leadership is to respect this in women, but for a woman, every person is a leader, and you want to feel good about your job, and you want to feel that you have a place to grow. Okay. And women will often have this naive understanding, if I just do a better job than everybody, they'll appreciate me more and give me a raise. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to ask for it. You have to be clear. What do I have to do? What do I have to do to get to the next level? What do I have to do to, I'm already doing this and this and this. What do I have to do to get to the next level?
That's right. That's right. You're correct, because even I know the story that she doesn't know, or she doesn't dare to ask. What shall I do? You know,
right? It's a simple concept.
Because
like,
the man would ask, and the woman is afraid to ask.
That's right. That's a very big gender difference, and for me to understand that is to explain, make a woman know that these are the things you can do. But when women don't ask, a man, and then she will feel, they're not giving me a raise, I don't feel appreciated, but actually I'm the boss over here, and I'm thinking, I appreciate her so much. She's so effective, and I only have to pay her this much. Of course I'm going to appreciate her more if I don't have to pay so much more and I get the job done. It's not because I don't appreciate her. I completely appreciate her. But because of that appreciation, she can ask for more. But the way to do that is not from a place of I feel unhappy, I'm not getting what I deserve. It's to simply say, you know, I'm doing a really good job, and these are the things I'm doing, and I think I deserve a raise. And if I don't get it, and have a conversation, what do you think? And if you don't think of what do I need to do in order to get to that raise? And to make people aware of that. If you know, certain markers where you're doing more, you can expect to get more.
True.
Because we all want to grow.
Does the work and life balance exist?
Say that again.
Does the work and life balance exist?
Oh,
because
right now,
so many people have this question. Is it possible?
Yes. So, you know, what goes along with work-life balance, the question, men have never asked work-life balance, okay?
Yeah.
We have, as men, we have problems, okay? We solve those problems and we make testosterone. And at the end of the day, when we can't solve problems, then we come home and we have what's called hobbies.
Yes.
Okay, our hobbies are places where we can solve problems easily. We're still challenged, but there's no stress associated with it, okay? Or we can sit passively, watch a football game, and we're solving the problem of the game. Or we can watch the news, and we can say, oh, they shouldn't do this, they shouldn't do that. So these are problems we're solving in our mind. They have no consequence in our life.
Okay.
Our work is consequence. So for a man, and this is a basic biological difference, because people are still confused about, are we really that different? Well, what I've done besides my books, which help point out just my observations, now after the last 10 years, studying the science of the biology. It was very funny in America when they asked the Supreme Court Justice, you know, what is a woman? And she couldn't say, you have to talk to a biologist. Well, I studied the biology, and the biology is very clear. For a man to be motivated, to experience motivation and energy and a sense of mission and purpose, this is what you want out of your men, they need to have messages of success. They need to feel, I can take credit for this. So on a team, for example, a man needs to have his specialty, so he can take credit for his part. But for a woman, where a team allows her to feel we. So for men, it's more me. For women, it's more we. And so, you know, I would use that word more with women. We're working on this, and you made such a big difference. You know, Helena, my assistant, she's also Polish. My assistant before that was Polish. I seem to have a thing with Poland. I love Poland. Well, you know, when it's her birthday, I just, you know, acknowledge her. You know, we're making a difference in the world as a team. We're doing this. It gives her a sense of mission and purpose in her life, but it's more of a we. But for a man, I'll focus on what he's done and how that was so helpful, focusing on his independence. So the work-life balance becomes a big problem because now we have feminism. Now feminism has a plus and a minus. The plus is that women have evolved beyond just being on their female side, they can also be on their male side. And I, as a man, I thrive being on my male side, achieving success, achieving my goals. I'm also happily married. I have children. I have grandchildren. What fulfillment that gives me. Men who are going to miss out on that, they don't know what they're missing. But it's a hard work. You have to know how to make a relationship work. It's another learning skill, like learning software. Men, we need a new software. Women need a new software because if you're in the workplace and you're a woman, you're making testosterone. Now, again, hormones. We all know hormones affect our moods. Everybody knows that. Particularly women know that. Your hormones are changing, it affects your moods. So what are the differences on a hormonal level? Well, we look at when men have 10 times more testosterone than a woman, and that means we have challenges and problems to solve and whatever, and we're getting positive feedback. Our testosterone needs to go 10 times higher than a woman's for me to be motivated. For a woman to be happy and fulfilled and have low stress, she needs to have 10 times more estrogen. Now, estrogen gets produced when you feel I have help. When you're doing things alone, you're making testosterone. When you feel I'm on a team, or when I have support, or when I'm seen, or when my voice is heard. That's the most important thing for women. My voice is heard, her estrogen levels will go up. But what I'm telling women right now, the workplace, if you want to succeed following, the rules of the workplace, don't be emotional.
Yeah.
If you're emotional, you can be happy, you can be positive, but if you have negativity, negative emotions, do not sell in the workplace.
Don't show it.
They will build up inside of a woman and cause her to have stress.
Yeah.
So let's just say you can't pay your bills. You think that's what's causing your stress? No. For women, what's causing their stress is they don't have help. And the most important thing, as a therapist, a woman can come into my office with a whole bunch of problems, and when she feels heard with all those problems, she'll leave my office feeling good. Yeah. Okay, this is what is. What am I going to do about it? There's no reason to have all this stress. We think the reason for our stress is this person and this person and this situation. For a woman, it's about not being able to talk about those, talk about her feelings, her emotions, and feel I have someone who listens to me and hears me. So if a woman is single and she's in my company, she needs to have a coach if she doesn't already have a rich life with a lot of friends. And sometimes women don't because they're so busy working all the time. They don't have a personal life. We know scientifically that for women to make progesterone, in one phase of her cycle, if she's not making progesterone, she'll be suicidal. And that comes from social bonding with other women. Okay, you have to have friendships. If you don't have friendships, then you need a coach. Somebody who can get you talking and sharing your feelings. So that's the first thing, not to solve problems. Now this is work-life balance again, which is if a woman goes to HR and complains, she's sharing her voice, but it won't lower her stress. Because she's complaining, meaning I'm sharing my feelings to produce a result. If you're sharing with a therapist or a coach or a friend, you're sharing about your frustrations, but you're not trying to change that person. If you use emotions to try to change someone, your stress will continue to grow until that person changes. You see, your brain is confused. It says, okay, I'm unhappy. This has to change before I can be happy again. No, the whole point of what we're learning, like in all of so much of the personal growth people are realizing today is that emotions is something we can control inside. But how do women control those emotions is by being able to put them out here and have somebody hear it. When somebody can hear it, it helps her brain to go, oh, okay, now let it go because that's not necessary. But if you use negative emotions by complaining to HR, what's happening, your stress will go up even in the process until your issue becomes solved. You never want to use negative emotion to solve a problem. You want to use negative emotion to become aware, okay, what am I feeling inside? Let me understand what I'm wanting, what I'm wishing, what I'm hoping for, and then your intuition will come in and you'll see what's possible and what's not possible. This is a natural shift if a woman has the safety to talk about her feelings. But during the workplace, she can't. You can't talk about emotions. You can talk about your ideas and what you think are suggestions and so forth, but to become emotional, stressed emotions like frustration and anger and worry and concern is okay. I'm concerned about this, but oh, I'm so worried about this. What about this? What about this? Talking from an emotional place will lose respect. And to tell men to respect that or other women to respect, nobody will. You have to have that sense of adultness because the emotional part of the brain is like a 2-year-old. Okay, this is a part of the brain that just reacts, and we know that under moderate stress, women have double and sometimes triple, 3 times more than a man in terms of emotion. So this is reality. Now you can pretend like you don't have emotion. You can pretend to yourself, but you've got it. And if you don't talk about those emotions with somebody who cares, who understands that you're not trying to change, what will happen then is your stress will go down. The essence of work-life balance is so that you're working, and in your mind, your brain knows, when I get home from work, I'm going to get to talk about this. Or when I get home from work, I'm going to have friends who care about me instead of people who are competing with me.
Yes, and you are right, because many people confuse it. And they shouldn't talk about problems with coworkers that much, because it's not gonna level the level of stress, right?
It's not a healthy thing in the workplace.
It's not healthy
to
because
use
it's
that.
a competition, and sometimes someone can use.
They will use it against you.
Yes, of course.
They will always
I mean,
use it
many
against
times it happens actually in many stories. And
well, what's an example of one story?
Sorry?
One story. What would be an example of that?
Yes, like for example, if 2 girls compete in a workplace and they are same position or similar position, if they complain to each other, that could be used against them, right?
And how would they use it against them?
to HR or to someone up.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Basically, the way you use it against them is that she's worried about this, I'm not worried about this.
Yes, I am better.
Or she's not happy about that.
Yes, and I am happy, choose me, you know,
exactly.
for a race. And
you made a very good point there as well. I'm happy, choose me.
Yes.
You see, when I'm looking as a leader, I want somebody who's confident and capable.
Yes.
Now, for a woman, she is confident and she is capable, but at the same time, she will have more emotion than a man.
Yeah.
So if you have double or triple the emotion of concern and worry than I would have, then I'm going to assume, mistakenly assume, that you're not capable for the job.
Yes, yes.
And so you get misinterpreted. And you know, we can live in a fantasy world that men are going to be able to interpret you correctly, but they're not. The workplace is you're dealing with people who don't have this gender intelligence.
Yeah.
So when the women that work for me, they go, oh, but what about this? And I realize they're getting emotional.
Yeah.
I know that if I just take time, and this is being a male gender intelligent leader, to know that when she's emotional, it doesn't mean she's not capable or competent.
Yeah.
Okay, I just need to, I know this is new, I know it seems challenging, and I'll say the magic words, I'll work with you, we're gonna get through this, and whatever you can do will be fine.
Yeah.
So you gotta give that reassurance. So that's as a male understanding the female. But women cannot expect all men to be gender intelligent. And also with your clients, okay? Your clients are definitely, they want you to be confident and clear, and when you're confident, you don't have negative emotions. You have no fear, you have no disappointment.
And you're happy.
Yeah, you're happy, you feel good.
And you attract people, actually, this is true.
And you're optimistic.
Yes.
And people can sense if you're optimistic, because we all have a resonance with another person. You just feel something.
Yeah.
And you know, today in our world, there's so many opportunities to work with different people. So logically, this is a good person, this is logically a good person. How am I going to make up my mind between this person and this person? It's what I feel.
It's a gut feeling, intuition.
It's a feeling, it's an intuition that happens inside, and biologically, that intuition happens when what's called mirror cells open up.
Yeah.
Now your mirror cells, if somebody has insecurity or doubt or not sure, my mirror cells will know it. That's the intuition that we have. It's all very biological, you can't lie. So you want to be able, as a woman, to know that I have two parts of me, on my male side, my female side. And I didn't finish up the one point, which I think is so important when you have to go, what is the difference between men and women? Biologically, hormones affect our moods tremendously. And women need to make 10 times more estrogen than a man. And that estrogen, otherwise she's stressed. And what allows your team of women to have lots of estrogen is to feel we're a team, and I hear you, and you're important, and you're included, and the way she feels appreciated is when she feels heard. You can't just say to a woman, thanks, what a great job, you're doing such a great job. That's the way. That's what you say to a man, and not that
it's
a woman.
Enough for him.
But it's mainly for him. But she has a male side, so she'll be happy with that. But it won't make her really feel appreciated. Oh, they say they appreciate me, but they don't. Well, why does she feel not appreciated? Because her basic, she's not getting respect. The respect is to recognize this is a woman who gives her heart and soul to this job, and she has certain needs, and the needs are to feel appreciated, to be heard, to be seen, to be included. Those are, to sort of map this out. If you look at what makes estrogen, it's when I show that I have consideration for you. I care. I care about the people I work with. Now, I care about the men as well, but women need clearer messages that you care about them. Another would be, and that's job flexibility. You've got children, you've got this, you need time for your children. I care. Okay, yes, I respect that. How can we solve this problem together? As opposed to, a man, look, get the job done, do the job, you'll figure it out, kind of a thing. Women, you need to have extra messages, say, I care. Extra messages, I understand. Now, understanding comes by getting her to talk.
Yes.
I might understand it. Oh, I know what you're going to say. No, let her say it, even if you already know what she's going to say. She needs to get the words out and be heard. It just takes a little bit longer. Now, the third one is respect. Everybody talks about respecting men. It's the women that need respect. It's when you respect someone, their estrogen goes up. That means prioritize them. And there's so many little things that we teach in gender intelligence. For example, if you say you're going to do something for a woman client, say, I'll call you on Tuesday and let you know. First of all, why am I going to call you on Tuesday? It's because I don't know the answer to your question. Women love when a man says confidently, I don't have the answer to that, but I'll get back to you on Tuesday. That says, wow, a man who's not pretending to be right all the time. Men have to wake up. Women know we're wrong all the time.
Yeah.
So when you're acting like you're right all the time, you can be confident by saying, you know, I need to take some time with that and I'll get back to you. That's a powerful thing for a woman. And on Tuesday, what would be a good time for me to call you? 3 o'clock? Oh yeah, 3 o'clock works out. If you don't call at 3 o'clock, she's not important. See, you're going to give her the message she isn't important. Those little things make a big difference to women. There was one example of a woman in America. She worked for a big investment firm, and she made this, you know, when one of the recessions happened, she did the right investment. She sold and she bought whatever, and made the company a ton of money. And she was on the front page of Forbes. Big thing. Yeah. Nobody acknowledged her in the office.
Wow.
She left. Yeah. She said, you know, all they needed to do was like a birthday party, you know, a cake and a celebration for me.
Wow.
The little things, the personal touches are still important.
Because we love to celebrate everything.
That's right. Celebrations.
Like
today and gratitude.
Yes.
You know, if you notice when you present me to the audience tonight, you will thank all the people that helped you. That's what women do. But see, if you're a man, you don't always think of those things because your nature is competitive. Not that women don't have a competitive side, but they have a greater awareness that people need to be appreciated for things.
Of course.
And men don't know that because if I walk into an office and another guy's coming in, we're both going for the same job. I'm not going to open the door for him. I'm going to go in. You know?
That's true.
But if I'm in a relationship with a woman, you open the door for her. There's a consideration. So competition is really going to your male side. But when women go to their male side, that creates a whole new challenge, the work-life balance challenge, which is that she needs to be able to shift from work to home life where somebody is helping her. Because when a woman is working in the office, she's helping everybody. Her brain is always tending. And she needs to break that pattern, shift to home life is somebody's tending to me. And that is ideally a man, or it's a therapist, or it's a good friend where you have mutual back and forth. But you need to feel that somebody is now taking care of you. And the most important thing, if you've been spending all day hiding your feelings, you're not suppressing them as long as in your mind you're going, I'm going to share them. And it's not so much of a mental thing, it's just you have a routine of coming home from work and talking. You have to be able to talk to somebody who hears you, who can relate to you in some way. And there's a whole art to this. You know, this is a big subject. One of the new books that's coming out that I'm writing is How to Talk to a Man so He'll Listen.
Wonderful. We are waiting for it, Dr. Gray.
And the other book, which is coming out before, is How to Be Happy with or Without a Man. Which is what we're talking about is you don't have to have a man, but you do have to have a personal life. You have to have friendships that produce progesterone, and then you have to situations where people are helping you in your life. And so let's say you're an independent woman, you're an investment banker, you're making all this money. You need to make sure that you're hiring men all the time to do things for you. Get men to fix your plumbing, to mow your lawn, to, you know, asking men to do stuff for you. Even if you're paying it, doesn't matter. It's making sure
they help you.
They help you. You're not doing it alone because that's the trap. And if you have children, make sure that if you're making money, you should use that money to help someone help you raise your children. Very, very important.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gray. Thank you. And see you soon.
Let's see you soon.
Again.
Yeah, thank you.